Hey there folks, Tim Slade here from the eLearning Designers Academy. You know, if you're just getting started with designing and developing your very first instructional design or e-learning development portfolio, like let's be honest, it's freaking hard and there's nothing intuitive about designing and developing a website, especially if you've never done that before. And then I think what makes it even more of a kick in the head is when you have to design and develop a whole website and make it all about you. And I don't know if this is true for anyone else out there, but like anytime you have to write about yourself, it's just like your mind goes blank and you're just like, I don't know what to write about myself. I know that's true for me and I know that's true for a lot of you as well. But the good news is like designing and developing a website is easier now than it's ever been before. I mean, there's so many different tools out there from Squarespace and Wix and GoDaddy's website builder and Canva, which I'm going to show you here in this video. And there's so many templates available out there as well, right? But even with all these great templates out there, I still see these common mistakes where folks over-design their website or their portfolio, or they try to go outside the template and create their own design, or they treat it like they're creating a document rather than a website. And that's not of the fault of anyone creating their website. Like I said, if you've never done it before, then you just don't know, right? A perfect example of this is the website and portfolio I want to show you today. So one of my students from my hands-on cohort and coaching program, Julia Buscelli, she's been working on her very first draft of her website, and she threw it at me this past week to take a look at it and provide feedback. Now, I really struggle with giving feedback on anything design related, like visually design related, if I can't actually show the edits that I'm envisioning in my mind's eye, right? So I thought, you know what, let me take a stab at editing and redesigning your portfolio and let me show you how I would do it. Then I thought, I should probably record this and put it on YouTube for all of you to benefit from it as well. And that's exactly what we're going to do. All right. So let's jump over to my computer here where we're looking at the current draft of Julia's portfolio. Now, right off the bat, I got to say this. I think Julia did a really great job for her first stab at her website and portfolio. Like I said, there's nothing intuitive about this. It's one of those things that a lot of people go into blind, and they try their best with the templates that they have available to them. But you know, if you've never designed and developed a website before, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I don't know how to structure this, where to put the information, all of that stuff, right? So what we have here is Julia's portfolio that she has put together in Canva. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Canva has the ability to build websites. I've never used it before, so you're going to see me use Canva's website builder for the very first time, but I played around with it for like 5 minutes before I hit record, and I think it's pretty intuitive so far. But the thing that I discovered really quickly as I was looking at Canva's website builder is that there's tons of templates available to choose from, and actually the editing environment is pretty simple and easy, so we'll take a look at that. But as we look at Julia's portfolio, we can see here it's a one-page portfolio. So if I click on the bio tab or button up there, it takes me down here. If I go to portfolio, it brings me down here, and then so forth and so on, right? But the problem when you build like one of these long one-page portfolios is that it's almost like too much information, when in reality, you want to create a website that has multiple pages that allows somebody to dig in and focus in on different areas. Because otherwise what you're doing is you're going like a mile wide and only an inch deep, or you're going a mile wide and a mile deep, and it's just too much for a single page. It can be really overwhelming, right? And you almost lose sight of like, where does one project begin and the next project end, or vice versa. You kind of get my drift here, right? The other thing too that I want to work on as we take a look at Julie's portfolio is the layout of the text, right? This is another area where a lot of people struggle. Obviously from the design standpoint, how do we make it look more interesting, more like a website? But then how do we structure this text where it doesn't feel like it's a Word document, it feels more like a website, right? And this is where we're going to employ some creative uses of ChatGPT to help us do it for us, all right? So I'm gonna hop over here to Canva where I have Julia's website opened here. And as you can see here, I'll scroll through the whole thing here. We have the portfolio down here, and then at the bottom, we have a little footer for contact me. So it's a really simple take on a portfolio. And this would be just good enough, but I want to take it from good to better to great. And we're going to do that by redesigning it from scratch, all right? So I'm going to keep this tab open so I can reference back to it along the way, but I'm going to go ahead and build out a portfolio using Canva's website builder as if I were designing Julia's website from scratch. All right. So I'm going to open up this tab here where I have all of the different templates that Canva has available to us. Right. And there is just tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of different portfolio website templates. Now, I'm not somebody who regularly uses Canva. I've used it a handful of times. I know there's some of you out there who use Canva all the time. So a lot of this is going to be way more intuitive for you than it probably is for me. But what I've surmised is that, if you've used Canva to create a presentation, the editing environment is really no different. It's just slightly adapted for a website design versus like a presentation design. But you're going to see a lot of similarities here. Now, as we look at all these different templates, one of the first things I want to mention right off the bat, if you're designing your own portfolio for the first time, what I highly recommend that you don't do is don't try to build a website from scratch. If you're not a web designer, you're not a web developer, you struggle with visual design as it is, which is true for a lot of people, you're going to really, really struggle creating a website completely from scratch. And usually that comes in the form of really over-designed websites, too many colors, too many images, all that sort of stuff. And so one of the things that I always recommend is start with a template and try to figure out how to make all of the content of your portfolio fit in the template. Don't try to create things from scratch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of these templates, and we're going to start by putting Julia's information in it. And then we'll figure out where we need to adapt it slightly along the way. All right. Now, as you can see, there's just tons of templates, as I've already mentioned. And there's one in particular that I was looking at before we started recording here, this one. I like this one here. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And what I like about this one is it has this snazzy little animation in the hero section. That's the banner, the first thing you see when you open up a website. That's called the hero section. And then we have these just other simple little layouts in the animate in. We have some fun about stuff. We have some images here, some content blocks, design focuses. I like this. Project gallery. I'm already thinking how we're going to use some of this. Testimonials for some social proof, and a really good footer here. So I think there's a lot of options here where we can use this. And then also it matches Julia's aesthetic here. She wanted to go with something kind of taupey, brown colors. That's kind of her aesthetic. And we can kind of see that here. It has that same aesthetic, but it adds a couple of more richer colors as sort of an accent, bold, call to action type color, right? So I'm going to go ahead and customize this template. And Canva's going to go ahead and load it for me. And you can see as I scroll through here, it's built in, or it's added in all of these different sections that we can start customizing and editing. Now, right off the bat, let me say this. When you load one of these templates, any of these website templates, and you come to the design tab here, there's going to be different styles that you can choose from. This is where you can change the colors, the fonts. And again, this is one of those instances where I'm going to tell you right now, like let's say we wanted to change this color of this background. I'm not going to just choose some random color. I'm not going to make it like this, right? Like that goes way outside of the design of what this template is supposed to be. Obviously, we have some of the document colors. These are the colors that are built in, like the call to action colors. There's some colors it's pulling from the photos, solid colors, gradients, all that stuff. But I'm not going to use any of this stuff because that's not built into the template. Up here, we'll stick with those photos. But better yet, what I'm going to do is if I wanted to change the fonts and the colors, again, I'm going to let these expertly designed color schemes and font schemes do the work for me. So let's say I wanted to do something more blue and teal, right? I could click on this and it automatically applies that, changes the font, changes the colors. That looks really great. And of course, I could apply it to all of the pages. And now we have a whole different look and feel. And it kind of has this blue hue to it. And I kind of like that. I actually think I'm going to stick with this one. And of course, Julia can change this if she wants to once I throw this back at her, right? So I'll go ahead and collapse this. Now, the way the website builder works in Canva is everything is in these different sections, right? So we have this section here. This is known typically as the banner section on a website or the hero section. This is the first thing somebody's going to see when they load a website. So if I click preview here, that's what I see here. Obviously, I can scroll down and it's going to move into this next section, which just has some photos. And you'll see that these animate in upon scrolling and we get some interesting stuff here, right? You can see some movement there. so forth and so on. Now, are we going to keep all this? No, we'll edit it along the way, but let's start with our hero section here, right? So we have, hello, I'm Rio. I believe brevity is key. My print and digital designs are all about minimalism and elegance. We're not going to keep that. We don't need the RS. We don't need Rio. I'm just going to start editing these things one at a time. Like I said, I'm going to use the template, but replace it with our information. So we have Julia, right? Hi, I'm Julia, or hello, I'm Julia. I'll expand this here. And let me move this here, recenter it. What I like about this website builder, like I said, building a website isn't always easy. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so it kind of encompasses her name a little bit more. What I like about this tool is that it is very much just like designing a presentation, you know what I mean? But in a website sort of way. So hello, I'm Julia. We'll come back to this. What about up here? Let me zoom in here. And I'm going to do Julia. We'll do a J and a B. So it's kind of like a logo mark, right? Can I zoom in like that? There we go. Let me move it here. Oop. See if I can't move this. Like I said, I've never used Canva before. So it's one of these things where I'm just trying to click on this. Nope. You know what? It's fine. Can I move it? Nope. It's all good. We'll leave it there for now. I wanted to make the B a little bit closer, but we'll worry about that later. All right, so hello, I'm Julia. Now let's work on this subheading here. This is something where you on a website, you want to make it really clear right off the bat what it is that you do and specialize in. So we have the name. I think that's important. And then what is it that Julia does, right? She says instructional designer and e-learning developer. I like this. I design learning solutions that are engaging, learner-centered, and results-driven. So I think we'll make that our subheading here. So I'm just going to copy this out here. And let's paste that in. And I like that. I design learning solutions that are engaging, learner-centered, and results-driven, right? And we have hire me. I don't know if I like that there. What if we change this to like learn more, right? And maybe you can scroll down to more about Julia. Learn more. Okay, cool. Let's preview that. Hi, I'm Julia. We have some fun little animation here. And then we have the learn more here. We'll add a link to that. Then we have some images here. We're going to come back to this. This is going to be something I want to highlight about building a website. And then we have about Rio, but we'll change this to about Julia. So let's close this here. So what I want to do is if somebody clicks this learn more, I want it to actually scroll down to this about section here. So I'm going to right click. I think that's how I right click. Hold on, let me see this. Not duplicate. Is it right here? Link. There we go. Where are we going to link to? No, let's see here. Try it one more time. Not to another website. Display mode link. There was a way earlier where I learned how to do this because I was playing with it. Comment. Is it up here? See, now you're seeing my newness to Canva. Maybe it's just if I highlight the text. Link. There we go. See, could I not do that before? Link to within document. Let's try this one more time. Because I am... Oh, wait, hold on. Search. There was a way. Why is it that I can do it this way? That's not what I wanted. Edit. Oh, maybe I click in there. See? Let's get rid of that link. Oh my goodness. Edit. Delete. Okay. Now let's click here. Link. There we go. In this document. I didn't see this down here, right? Let's see here. We're going to go to section 3. And section 3 is not titled. We will title it here in a little bit. This is the about area. So it'll go whoop, down here. So learn more. And it goes down here. Now you see how it's underlined? I don't know if I want that underlined there. So I can actually underline it. Let's see if it still works. Pow. It takes us down there. See how that works? Okay, cool. That took a hot minute, but that's okay. You know, learning new stuff. Don't have to be intimidated by it. This is the thing about using these sorts of tools. First off, I want you all to remember, like, there's always the undo button, right? So you can't get scared of making edits. You can't get scared of breaking things. Undo it, or you can always start over. And then the other thing too is, like, it's not like you're going to launch a nuclear missile to North Korea or anything. You know what I mean? Like, we're just building a website, so it's all good. Okay, so we have Julia Buscelli here. I'm just going to reference that up here. Hello, or let's do about Julia Buscelli. Make that a little bit bigger here. See if I can drag that, get it back down to one line. I think that's really good. We're going to come back to this. Let's focus in on the photos here. So we have some photos here. And obviously this isn't Julia. Now, I asked Julia prior to me recording, I asked her to send me some photos. We have some personal photos here. We have her headshot. I like these. And we have some personal photos. My thinking is I want to use a professional headshot here. But then some of her personality photos, like her life photos, I think should go here. And I'll talk about why here in a moment. But let's see if I can't just quickly replace this photo. If I click edit, let's see what it does. We have filters. We have adjust. We're not adjusting it. I just want to replace it. That's not right. Let's do this. Detach image. I know all of you out there who use Canva, you're like, Tim, just click that. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but this is how I got to learn. You know what I mean? So you just got to let me do my thing. So if you have to fast forward, it's totally fine as I figure this out. It's not this. It has to be pretty easy to replace a photo, right? Double click on it. Smart crop. Expand. What does that do? Oh, no, thank you. You know what? We're going to upload a file. Let's do we like this one? I like that one. I like that one, even though it's giving her some fuzzy fuzz. She used AI for this, by the way. And it did a fantastic job. A lot of AI had shots before used to look really plasticky. So I'll go with this one. I think this one looks good. See what happens if I do that. Uploading. Okay. And I have a feeling, what if I just click and drag it here? Haha, there we go. See? I just tried it and we're all still alive. Let's preview this thing. Yep. See how great that is? If I do say so myself. Okay, cool. I feel good about this. Now, what about these photos up here? This is, again, where I want to use some of the photos that Julia provided me. Now, let me say this real quickly. A lot of times I think when people are building their very first portfolio is they sterilize it too much, right? They don't show a lot of personality. And, you know, I don't know how everyone else feels about this, but I want to be hired as my whole self. Like, I'm a full person. And so I'm going to show my personal life. I'm going to show photos of my dog or my partner or me traveling. I mean, I'm not going to show, you know, when I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I'm going to show some personality because at the end of the day, like, hiring is people hiring people, you know, and you do want to show yourself in the best light, but you don't want to erase yourself in the process, you know? So I'm going to upload some of Julia's photos that she shared with me, and we're going to throw them in here because I think it just adds a nice little transition for some personality here, right? So let's go upload some more stuff here. Upload files, and we have a whole bunch of photos. We have the dog. That's such a sweet dog. This looks like it's in Arizona, where I live. Let's find out. Hold on. Oh, it's not letting me zoom in. That's okay. We have some soccer-y stuff. We have some Grand Canyon stuff. We have some family stuff. We have, oh my gosh, Mount Kilimanjaro. That's a great photo. The Peace Corps. A Peace Corps where Julie did some work, skiing, soccer. Julia lived in a van and traveled for a long time, which is super cool. She doesn't live in a van full time. It was just for like a jaunt. That's cool with her dog. This looks like it's somewhere really cold. A lot of really cool stuff. Okay, so we're going to upload all this stuff. We're going to give it a moment to upload. Oh, look how quickly I did that. All right. So let's start throwing in some photos here. What if we did this one here? And let me see if I can click and edit. Oh, look how easy this is. Oh my God. I might be a Canva convert. Yeah, I don't know. I like that there. I like the soccer photo too. What if we did that here? Look at that. And then what if we did, we got to get the dog in here because of course we do. We have the dog here, but we want more of the dog, right? And we're going to do this, and let me make it like that. And we have the bike. So Julie does bikey stuff. And then I like this photo of her doing soccer-y things, right? Coaching soccer. Love that. Look at that. Okay. See how easy that was? And now, can I just make this go away? There we go. Now we have like a collage of photos, right? Look how easy this is. Hey, I'm Julia. I think I might change that too. Learn more. So we get a little nice transition with some personality here. I think that's great. Okay. Hey, I'm Julia. I like that. Let's move this over. Like that. Okay. Let's work on her about section. Now, let me say this before I move forward. You know, I'm obviously not building the website in the same way that she did, right? With all this text. And I guess I should mention this. When you build a website, obviously one where you have multiple pages, the home page is really meant to be like a high-level preview of what I'm going to see later on in the website, right? So we have the main heading, we have some personality, we might reuse some of this, we have the about section, and then da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? We're not going to keep all of this on the home page, but this about section has a little bit of a preview, then we'll click a button or something, and then we're going to go learn more about her on an about page. And then same thing down here, you know, like my projects or my work, right? We have some previews here, but then we're going to click on it and go learn more about the type of work that she does. And then we have the footer here. So we're not going to keep all of this on the home page, right? But let's focus in on this little bio thing here, right? So we have some content here about me, my path, guiding principles, partnering with clients, my training, contact me. So this is a lot of content to have on a home page to learn about Julia. And I kind of want to have a little bit of a sneak peek preview on the home page, and then we can go into more detail on a dedicated About Me page. And, you know, writing is not very intuitive to me. I'm not a really good writer, and that's why I love using some ChatGPT. We're going to use ChatGPT to do this, all right? So here's what I'm going to tell ChatGPT. Hey, I always address it. I'm working on helping one of my students redesign their portfolio. We need to work on refining the copy for her About Me section on the home page, along with the content that will go on her About Me page. I want a small paragraph for the home page, and then more detail on the About Me page. Here's the current content. So I'm going to paste that in there, right? So I'm just telling it what I want. Let's copy this stuff out here. And there's nothing shameful about this. Like, I encourage you to use the tools available to you. I didn't get the whole word there. Locally. Oh, no, I did. It's right here. I encourage you to use the tools available to you. If using ChatGPT makes your life easier and makes it easier to write about yourself, then do it. You know what I mean? Like, tell ChatGPT, this is who I am. This is what's important to me. Can you make this sound like it's written for a website? And I'm going to add that in here too. Here's our current content. I want this written like a professional I want it written as if you're a professional copy editor writing a website for an instructional designer. I'm just telling it, like, make it professional, right? Let's see what it does. Okay, homepage about me section. Hey, I'm Julia, a learning experience designer who creates engaging learners and okay. This is good. Do we want a tagline or headline for the homepage? Do we? Let's go see. No, I think we have about Julia, but let's see what it does say. Sure. What might you provide as a tagline for the home page? Okay, we might use some of that in the about page, but let's take this. I kind of like this for the home page. If I copy this, is that right? No, right up here. Copy. Oh, we might make this about me because it's very much written as if it's coming from Julia. So instead of it being about Julia Buscelli, let's make it about me. Paste that in there. Hey, I'm Julia Buscelli. Let's put that in here. A learning experience designer who creates engaging, learner-centered, and results-driven solutions with a background in international Maybe we see what it looks like with that. I kind of like that, right? Okay, good. Now we'll get to the About Me page here in a moment, but I'm feeling good about what we have so far, right? Now let's take this, and we're going to duplicate it. And we're going to move this stuff. Let's see if I can, how easily I can move it down here. Did it move it down there? No, it's up here. Where did it go? You know what? Let's delete that. We'll copy it. We're going to come down here and paste. Yeah, allow. There we go. Now, this is another example where I'm not going to recreate these things from scratch. I already have it up here, so I'm going to duplicate this, right? Let's do learn more about my story. Or why don't we just do more about my story? Keep it a little simpler. Yeah. And we can just kind of center that there like that. So maybe it's kind of indicating, hey, click me. Right? Kind of like that. Okay, we'll come back to that. We'll add a link to an about page. Now this stuff, background, design focuses, print, branding, illustration, project gallery. A lot of this we're going to use elsewhere. We do have this down here at the footer. We'll come back to this here. And I could add more sections down here. If I add a section, you see how it adds a section. We don't need that here. So now we're going to start getting into other pages. I'm not going to delete anything that we have so far. Now, in web or in Canva, sorry, I'm like thinking a million things at one time. We're on this page here, right? And I wonder if I can rename this page to just give it a, we're going to call this home page. There we go. Now we can add additional pages here, right? So I'm going to add a new page and we have a blank page for about. Now, this is actually not how I'm going to recommend that we do this. I'm not going to, because what happens here is when you add a page like this, it's encouraging you to start designing a page from scratch. We're not going to do that. Of course, I could come here and start throwing in these templates here. But what I think I'm going to do instead is I would rather work off what we already have built in the, if I can get that to go away, on the home page. So I'm going to delete this, delete that page. Yes, and we're going to duplicate the home page, right? I'm going to tell you why. Because we already have a lot of elements here, and I don't want to start recreating these elements, right? So now we're going to focus in on an About Me page, right? And so here we have our header. That's our hero section. We can adjust the size of it. And then what do we want to have here? Maybe we have a little bit of the background here. I'm going to save this probably for the portfolio page. This is obviously for the portfolio page. this would probably be the portfolio page, and then we have the footer. So let's get rid of what we don't need. We don't want the testimonials here because we want the testimonials to be about the work. We don't need this here because we want that to be for the portfolio. We don't need the project gallery. Get rid of that. I kind of like these design focuses on the About Me page, but let's see how this turns out. I'm going back and forth on whether or not I want this on the About Me page versus on the home page, right? Let's see what happens on the home page, how it feels, since I do have it here. Let's just move it down. That's the other thing too. You can move it up and down these sections, which is really great. If you're familiar with Rise, right? Like how you can move blocks. It's very much like a Rise editing space. So let's preview this. Yeah, I think we can leave these photos for the About page. You know, that's where we want to have more personality. So let's close that. So I'm going to get rid of it here because we already have it here. And let's see here. Yeah. So let's start with the header up here. My story. I kind of like that as a headline. This is where you can have a little fun with your copy here. Make it my story instead of about me. That's okay. Even though we have it up here as learn more about my story. That's great. So we're back on the home page or back on the about page, my story. We need a subheading here, and then maybe we have learn more, and then it scrolls down here to a little bit more about Julia. We'll get to that here in a moment. Now we can come back here. I asked it for some subheadings. Maybe we use some of this here, right? So we have some professional and clear designing learning that works in any context, learner-centered solutions for real-world impact, instructional design grounded in strategy, culture, and collaboration. One of the things, too, when I talked to Julia was that she really wanted to frame herself from a standpoint of somebody who has global impact, global audience, that sort of stuff. And so I kind of like a lot of these down here, human-centered ones. Empowering people through purposeful learning, global experience, localized learning, measurable results, bringing a global lens to instructional design, designing learning that respects cultures. I like this one. We're going to copy that. Wow. Let's go back here. Whoa, we do not need that to be a bullet. Heck no. Kind of like that, like there. There we go. Now, let me recenter that on the website. There we go. Designing learning that respects culture, context, and people. There we go. See how we've just changed that? We have that there, our collage, and then we have about me and background, right? We're going to leave... I have an idea. We're going to get rid of this here. Let's see. Is it still on the home page? Yes. Okay. We're going to get rid of this on the About page. Delete. Okay. Let's preview what we have here so far. Now, this is the other thing, too, you're going to notice. So now that we've added more than one page, we have a menu up here. Well, we don't have home. We don't want two homes, right? So that's where we have to rename that page. So let's do that here. We're going to rename this one. Or we can make it my story. What if we did that? Just to go along with it. Do we like this? Home, my story. Heck yeah. Oh, and we got to fix that link too, right? Because I went back to the home page. This link here. Home page, section 2. No, thank you. Oh, I linked to it. Even here. Did not mean that. I have to click edit. We're going to do... You know, it's so interesting to me. I wonder if I can rename sections. This feels like the same things that are important when you're designing something in storyline seem to be important here as well, like with naming, right? So I wonder if we can I rename this section? It would be so cool if I could. We have a lock. Don't allow replacing content. That's nice. Duplicate. Add section. I feel like there's somewhere in here where I'm going to be able to rename it. Editing, commenting. No, I can't though. I can't see a place where I can edit it. There probably is, but that's okay. Okay, so what I'm thinking is now back on the homepage, we have, hey, I'm Julia, subheading, learn more, about me, call to action here. Now what we need, we don't need this. We're going to leave this for the about page. So I'm going to get rid of that, delete that. Now what we need is we need a call to action to go learn about her portfolio. Or to go view her portfolio. We don't want the project gallery, so I'm going to get rid of that. Actually, I don't want to get rid of that because I'm gonna keep that for the portfolio page. So I should probably make that here. Let me duplicate this. I know I'm all over the place, so I apologize. Duplicate page. Let's put that over here, right? Let's rename this. My work. My story, my work, right? Cool. We'll come back to that. So on the home page, we have header, about me, design focuses, project gallery. This is the part we're going to get rid of on here, right? Testimonials. Now this is, we can put testimonials either on the home page, the portfolio page. It really, wherever you want to put it. Social proof is not a bad thing. It's a good thing, right? I think we're going to leave it for the portfolio page. So I'm going to delete that here. And obviously we'll leave the footer here. Okay. So here, now we need a call to action button here. So I think what I'm going to do, just like I did before, I'm going to duplicate and no, you know what? Duplicating did not work last time for me for some reason. So I'm just going to copy. Paste. It worked. Now this is a cool thing that I've discovered too about working with the Canva website builder is that you can expand these sections really easily. So I can make it bigger. I need some more space down here. Great. That's easy. Did not mean to do that. Let's just center this here first. View more of my work, right? I like that. And I think we should say learn more. We want action verbs. And I'm just saying that this gets in the center there. If I don't feel like it's in the center. Let's just do it manually there. Oh, that's not good. See how it's off balance here? Don't like that. There we go. And then we'll put that there. Now, these call to actions too, I'm wondering if they shouldn't just be bold. So it's really clear, I don't know if Canva does hover states with buttons. That would be for another day for me to figure out. But I do like the idea of these being bold so that there's like a visual contrast here. That looks really good, right? Let's make this bold. There we go. View more of my work. Learn more about my story. Let's preview this. My story, my work. Hey, I'm Julia. I design learning solutions that are engaging, learners-centered, and results-driven. Learn more about me. Great. Learn more about my story. We'll check that out here in a moment. Design focuses. View more of my work. We'll get into that here in a moment. We'll reframe this. So let's try this. Does that work? No, we need to fix that link. Does this work? No, we got to do that link. So let's do that real quickly. So that was working. Let's do this. Oh, because it's going to itself. Edit. Link. How did it do it? Link. Embed? No, link. Enter a link or search. I think I did delete it. There we go. That was not intuitive for me. My story. Okay, done. Did I underline it? Yeah. I'm going to underline it. Edit. Delete. Portfolio, my work, done. I could leave it underlined if I really wanted it to look like a hyperlink, but again, we're just having fun with the design. Those are things that we can go back and change if need be, if we think it'd be more intuitive, right? This is feeling good. My story. Let's go back home. View more of my work. And then that obviously looks like the home page because we haven't edited that. And then we have the footer here. Let's work on this footer here. I'm not going to change out all this information. This is stuff I'll let Julia do, but let's reword this one. This is another one where I'm going to use some of this stuff here, right? Designing learning that works in any context. Partnering. I like that because it's kind of what we're wanting down here. It's like, it's time to partner, right? Ooh, no bullets, please. There we go. Partnering to build thoughtful, effective learning experiences. Let's do to create. And let's put this little doohickey over the word create. It's okay if it overlaps. It kind of looks cool if it does, right? And that looks pretty cool. Now, do we need to do that on these other ones? Heck yes, we do. So let's just, because it's not a footer section that is going to translate to all of those pages equally. So we'll just manually do it. Normally on a website, when you build a footer, it just has the same footer on every page. That's clearly not the case here. So let's see if I copy that. You know, I'm asking as if it's going to copy it right where I want it to be, but I don't think it's going to do that. It's magic. It copied it right on top of the word create, like it knew where I copied it from. Holy shit. Okay. I'm slowly getting converted to the power of this thing, of Canva. Holy shit. That's fine. Okay. That was really impressive for me. Okay, so we have our home page. I feel good about this. Okay. Design focuses. Now, we have about me. Let's change this to, we have my work, about me. Okay, let's use ChatGPT. Okay. For the home page, I need to create a section that's a call to action to visit Julia's portfolio page. I need a header. I need a header along with 3 areas of focus. Right now, the template says, what does it say? Design focuses. I don't really like that. What might you suggest that's more interesting than my work? Question mark. As for the 3 areas of focus, Julia on instructional design, e-learning development, and performance support. Let's say that. Obviously, she might focus on different things. We can replace that. What is a 1-sentence headline for each of these? And the reason why I'm asking that is because in the template, you can see there's a little 1-sentence headline for each of those. So that's what I'm asking for. And don't worry about spelling. Doesn't matter with ChatGPT. See how I bring learning to life, learning solutions in action, explore my approach in action, real projects, real results, what I create and why it works. I like these. And there we go. See? Designing strategic learner-centered experiences aligned with... Okay, cool. I like this. See how I bring learning to life. Oh, bullets again. My goodness. We could leave that as 2 lines, but let's make this 1 line. Okay. And we have that here. Centering it there. Squiggly doodle. I like that over here. That looks good. And then we have, let's make these instructional design. Just focusing on the layout here. E-learning development. Well, let's do performance support, because that is something I've seen in some of Julia's work as well. Okay, what about those sentences? Designing strategic, I love that. Copy that. Paste that. It's a little longer than that. That's okay. We can, there we go. I just want it to flow nicely. Let's see how we can get this to work. Now loved it to get to 3 lines. Yeah, see how they're all 3 lines? There we go. And let's get this one to 3 lines. Great. And let me recenter that here. Okay. Now, as for these photos, as Julia adds stuff to her portfolio, she can replace these with real pieces of work. But what if we just did like some stock photos? So let's see what we can find here. I assume it's going to be under elements. I don't want an AI image generator. Let's do photos. Let's do design. Instructional design, right? Let's just make it writing. I kind of like this one. It has similar colors as the website. Does it work in there? Yeah, kind of. Okay. Let's do, this kind of already is e-learning. It has a computer, but let's see what comes else up. What else comes up? I want it to be like clear that it's a, let's try this one in here. And then whenever I'm choosing photos too, like I'm trying to find photos that have a similar color palette and feel. So you see these like warm taupey colors, a little bit of the orange complements this. So I feel okay about that. Performance support, let's do document. We don't want to use stuff like this. Don't ever use stock photos like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, or whatever that old scroll is, or signing a contract. None of that really. Don't do this. Some of these stock photos are awful. It's sometimes hard to find good stock photos. We want to look like real people doing real things. That's what we're looking for. Is there more? Okay. Yes, I'm looking at a piece of paper. She's so excited. Let's keep looking. Now, you might be one of those people who are like, do you look for photos? How long does it take you to look for photos? And I will spend hours looking for photos sometimes. I kind of like this one. Julia can replace this as needed, but I feel like that kind of gets us the vibe we're looking for, you know? And she can replace this with real mock-ups of her projects, something like that. Yeah, I think we're good on that front. Okay. I know we spent a lot of time on that. Let's go back to my story. Okay. So let's focus in on these 2 areas. I think my background. Don't know where that period came from. Okay. About me and my background. So this is one area where we're going to want to use a different photo of Julia. We don't want to use the exact same photo. So it can be a personal photo. It doesn't have to be the professional photo, even though we have several of them. Let's do a fun one. I really like this one. I also like the dog one. Make it bigger. Because the dog is really what's important. I like that. And then let's do a different photo in here. We're going to do uploads. We already have, do we have the cold? We have the cold. We have a skiing. We have the van. And speaking of dogs, my dog is now doing his squeaker outside here. Let's do this one. I like that. I want to get the sunset in there a little bit. Okay. That's good. Let's preview this. Hey, I'm Julia. My story. Learn more. Oh, we'll fix that little underline there. We don't need that here. Oh, we'll have to fix that. Okay, let's fix some of these awful typos of mine. Don't need this to be underlined. Done with that. And then about me. Oh, yeah, I'm on the about me page. Don't need this. And then my background. And this is one area where I am going to manually change the color of the font. I don't know why it's this green color when it should be more. It's more like this color. What is this color? Oh, it's this one here. Okay. There we go. So it's kind of consistent in that way. Okay. So the about me content here. So we also use ChatGPT to do that. So what did we come up with? Okay, we have a little bit here, full about me page. Hey, I'm Julie. I design learning experiences that make a difference. My approach, my background. Let's connect. We don't need that right now. What if we just see this? We might have to make this a little longer, but let's see what we come up with here. I'm going to delete that. You know, I have an idea. Undo, undo, undo. What if we did a couple of sections here? Because we have these headers. About me, we have this, my approach, my background, right? And we kind of have a background here. Look at that. Okay. So what if we did this? What if I duplicated this section? Right? We don't need it to be as tall, so I'm going to make that shorter here. Don't need this to be as tall, so I'm going to make, let's actually, just so we're consistent, delete this and duplicate this now. Duplicate that. And then we can swap it like this. There might have been an easier way to do that, but it's escaping me. We'll put that there. Put that there. Okay. So this could be, what do we have it on this one? About me, my story. Let's come back here. So I'll take that paragraph and that can go right here. That's another thing too. We don't want this little orphan thing down here. I think that's what they're called. Just adjust that there. About me. And then this can be my approach. Maybe we'll do something different than those squigglies. Let me just put that aside for a minute. Let's take this. Delete, delete, delete. This one's a little longer, right? That's okay. We're going to do this. Make it longer like that. I just want the text to flow nicely. Okay. Let's see if we can find different squigglies here. Let's do elements, photos. We don't want photos. What are these? They're not stickers, are they? Are they shapes? They're not shapes. They're like squigglies, but these ones aren't animated like the other ones are. These are animated. A circle? Hand drawn? Let's do underline. Okay, so we have some little squiggles here, right? I like these. So what if we threw like this one in here? It's obviously way too big, but what color is this thing? It's this teal color. Is that teal? Yes. It always feels good when you like impress yourself with your own amazingness. About me. Look at that. And my approach, we don't need that squiggles. Let's do a different squiggles. We'll do these two. I like that. My approach. Not copy. Okay. And we'll make that the teal color too. Look at that. What? That's amazing. Now, what about these photos? All right. So, my work is graded through correspondence and collaboration. Earlier, my career letter. Okay, we're going to use some of these photos again in here. So let's see what we have in here, photos. Now, Julia might have more photos that she will eventually use, and that's totally fine. I don't know where a lot of these photos are coming from. That's crazy. Let's do this one. I think that's a great photo here. We have a lot of head space here. I can adjust this a little bit, and we have that there. I think that's good, right? What if we bring this up, right there. Yeah, see how much better that is? Now, what do we have for a background? What I'll do is I'll leave this here, and then Julie can kind of swap out her experience there, right? I think that would work. Okay, so let's preview everything we have so far. Hey, I'm Julie. I design learning solutions that are engaging, learner-centered, blah, 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 blah. Learn more about me, learn more about my story. I think I'm going to edit this headline too. That color that's outside of the style here. We'll make that bold. Okay, so let's fix some of those things. Homepage. What was this color again? Is that third one in? I wonder if this would look good. I know I'm making how that looks. Oh, I kind of like that. Changing my mind here on a few things, and that's okay. Okay, let's go here. Make this one bold and our new blue color for those links. And I think we're looking pretty good there. Okay, so we have a home page. We have my story page. Now we have to get to the work page, right? So what did we do here? My story. Why don't we make this my work, obviously, right? Because that's what we're talking about here. Oh, now I'm wondering to know how this would look. See, look how we're iterating. I like that more call out color there. Love it. See, it gives it those little pops of color. Okay. My work. Now we're going to need a subheading here. We have the learn more here. That'll be bold, and our new blue action color that we have decided on. We don't need the about me page. We don't need the design focuses thing, but we do need projects. There we go. We'll just leave learn more. Okay, so let's do my work. Okay, we're now working on the portfolio page. Can you provide a subheadline for the heroes section? The title is my work. How much space do we have? We have two little lines here. I like this. Explore real-world projects that showcase how I design, develop, and deliver learning that works. That works for me. Okay, let's put that there. Get rid of those extra lines. That works. I like that. And then we have project gallery. Here's some of the projects I worked on. let's do explore some of the projects I've worked on. I like that. All right. Now, client testimonials. Now, Julie hasn't done freelancing work. Let's make this what others have said, right? So we'll leave that there. She can replace that on her own with some social proof that we can put onto the website. We'll put that there kind of in the middle. And then we have some social proof there. Now, when it comes to all of this stuff, what we want to have is we want to have a dedicated landing page for the portfolio. What we don't want to do is have my work and then just go to a long list of all the projects, because then a hiring manager or client, when they look at it, they don't know where one project ended and the next one began. You know what I mean? So we kind of want to have a gallery of projects that people can look at. Now, this is all very expandable. I'm going to get rid of this section because right now I know Julia has on her original website, she has this one project here, and she has a few others that she's going to add. So she'll have a total of 3. So I'm going to leave these here. We don't need these little images in here. I wonder see if we can just replace these with images. I don't know how easy that'll be. Let's see here. It's just a shape, right? So let's see if we can upload a photo. Let's see if we can view the project here. Let's go to this one. Okay, so we have this here. This might be a good opportunity to do a mock-up of the project. So let me open up my Snagit. Take a screenshot here. Okay, so let's do a screenshot. I'm just going to throw that screenshot on my desktop. We're going to do a mock-up. I use a service called Placeit.net. It's paid. I think you can do it for free too, where I create easy mockups here. We're just going to do a iMac mockup here. And let's do an easy, simple one here. One where we can really see the screen and kind of matches the general vibe of what we're going for. What if we did this one here? I like that. Okay, edit it. What I love about this service is that I can replace this image, throw this in here, crop it, and we have a mockup. And then I can download it. And it's going to process it for a moment. Click here to download, and we have it on our downloads folder, okay? So what if we did this? Let's just see if I can upload it. Upload files, downloads, here's that, okay? I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm just gonna try throwing this image in here. See it works. How amazing is that, right? And we're gonna pretend that these are we're just gonna do this here. So it's expandable, right? And we'll do project title, and then this one was called what? Stand-up paddleboard safety. This was our sample project from the cohort. You can check out this project actually in our eLearning examples library in our community. And I'll put the link down below. I have no idea if I spelled any of this right. Paddleboard is one word. Who knew that? I certainly didn't. Okay, stand-up paddleboard safety. All right, cool. So now what's great about this is we have something that's easily expandable. So as Julia adds additional projects, she can put them here, duplicate this, and now you have a long list of projects, right? And then we would just link to this where the person can click on it, or maybe, let's see, maybe we add a button, right? This is probably where it would help us to do this. So let's copy this because we don't want to assume somebody's just going to click on the photo, right? So let's do view project. No. Let's do view project. Make that bigger, make it bolder, make it better. There we go, right? Kind of like that. Okay. And I guess we should do the same here. Copy, paste. Did that work? Oh, look at that. It's interesting that when you take two at the same time, it doesn't do the little lineup like it's supposed to. Again, not being somebody who uses Canva all that frequently, I'm not sure what I don't know. There we go. I think it would automatically do the little snappy snaps. That's not what I wanted. I'm not using a real mouse either, so you know how it is with a trackpad. That's good. Okay. Now we don't need these to have any links, so I'm just going to delete these links out of here. Right? No links, no links, no links. This is going to go to the project page, right? Let's make this too. What color were those? No, that's all right. Okay. Learn more. My work. Okay. And then she has some testimonials here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a dedicated page for this particular portfolio item, right? So we're going to create a new page. Now, this is where, let's see what sort of designs we have in our template here. So this is the template we're using. I don't want to reapply it. If I click on it, what does it do? Okay, so what I do is going to reapply something here. What we need is some different layouts that we can use for this project. And this is where we might have to do some things from scratch or adapt what we have here. Let's go back here. What do we have here? So we have image or video. She has a little video here, content here, a button, and then her design process, right? With some links to view the design process, view storyboard. We can stick within that and we can make this feel more like a consistent portfolio page. So I'm going to, let's see what elements we have here. I kind of like what we have here. I kind of like this section here. So let's just do this. Let's duplicate this page. And we're going to rename it right off the bat. Paddleboard Safety Project. Nope, I'm not inviting people. I'm just trying to rename this. Oh, that's weird. Okay, we'll pretend that it's spelt properly. Now for the hero section, this is where we're going to do things a little differently here. So let's see how easily we can add a new section here. I kind of like this text on the right. Let's see if we can add that in there. Add as new page, replace current page, add template as new page. I want to add it as a section. Can I just drag it in here? No, I can't do that. Template style. Let's go all the way down here. Add a section. Right. Can we move things when it's in here? Duplicate. Add section. That's interesting. Well, let's do this. Let's go back to the home page. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit my microphone there. Let's copy this section and let's paste this thing in here. Did that work? Did not. Paste. Paste. Okay. Well then let's do replace all pages. You don't want to replace all pages. So let's see what happens. Okay. Yeah, it did replace it all, but it messed up a little bit of our style, didn't it? Let's undo that. See, this, don't freak out. We didn't launch a missile, right? We just kind of are experimenting here. I just want to see if I can get that layout from, you know what we can do? We can just do this. Do this and this and this and this and this and this, and then copy, and then come here and we will add a section, or maybe we'll just delete this section content. I'm probably not doing this the right way, and that's okay. That's part of the learning process, and I feel okay about that. Hey, there we go. What about it? There you go. Okay, so I think when we come to the portfolio page, actually, I'm going to we're going to go a little bit differently than what we've done before with the hero section here, right? We're going to put it here, and we can make this bigger, obviously, because we want the viewer, hiring manager, client, we want them to be able to see the project right off the bat. You know what I mean? So let's get this all centered in here. And I'm just going to do project title, right? We'll do project text. Okay. We'll call this view complete project. So I'm just trying to figure out the different elements we have to have here. This image here, I wish we could change the shape of it. Can we change the shape of it? Is that easy? Do we have placeholders? We have graphics, stickers, photos, mock-ups. Look at these. Okay, here's some frames. What if we threw this one in here? You know what I mean? Let's just give this a try. And then let's do uploads. We already have this. Let's throw that in here. Maybe make it a little wider. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to come up with a repeatable layout for our project, right? So like once we create this project, it's something easily that Julia can update and repurpose for future projects, right? We don't want that overlapping too much. So let's do this. We'll fix all this. We'll do it stand-up paddleboard safety. Obviously, that's not working there. I'm just going to just easily move it, not right-click on it. Not loving that, right? What if we stick with, I'm going to see how far I can undo this. I can do quite a bit of this, huh? Look how far back I'm going. There we go. Okay. So what if we did this? I have an idea. This is going to keep us consistent with what we've been doing so far. So let's get this to one line. Probably make this bigger. Okay, I like that. Let's see what content we have here. E-learning course. Maybe that becomes the I kind of like that. Let's get rid of the animation. And this is where we can use some of those squiggles that we used before. Maybe that goes like here. It's a little big, right? That's okay. Make it smaller. I don't know what color we did with these before, so let's go find out. It was that last teal. Okay. Color. There we go. And then, what if it's coming to me. Okay. We do learn more, and then it scrolls to a section here with a large photo of it, that mock-up, right? Get rid of this stuff. Delete, 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 delete. Okay. Then we can do this here. I'm just going to make this all the way big here, wider. And this is where, you know, like I said before, we're trying not to design stuff from scratch. I'm just trying to keep it somewhat within the aesthetic of the website. So I'm doing a little designing from scratch, right? And that's okay. You know, do what you feel comfortable with. Let's crop it like there. So we have that big photo here, right? So maybe they'll scroll past this and then they'll get to the project details here where we can use a little bit of the photo and everything, right? This is where we can repurpose, and we have to get to the design process here. So let's see what other content blocks we can repurpose, right? So we're kind of using this. I like this. So let's keep this. Copy this, copy this, copy this, copy. Come here. Let's add a new section. Let's get rid. We don't need this. So I'm just going to repurpose this section here. All these little elements. And that's where this stuff's going to go. And let's do about the project. Let's do view the complete project. I like that now. Bold that. Okay. Now we already have some content here about the project. This content I think is fine. It's a little bit about the project, right? So I'll just copy that out here. Paste it here. I like that. Bring this stuff up. And she already has a link to that. So I'll just copy that link, throw that in here, edit that. There's the link. Done. Good. Now this link up here, though, this link's going to go to the paddleboard section 3. So they're going to click on it. It's going to scan all the way down here. Let's get rid of this underline. It's really wanting me to keep the underline, probably for a reason. I think I've heard about accessibility and underlines for hyperlinks, right? Okay. We're going to remove that from there too. Learn more. There we go. And then we have the project there. Okay, cool. So let's do this though. Let's, do we hide the page? Is that how we hide it? Let's see here. I mean, I still want it to work, right? I have to link to that there. So let's go do that. Let's see if this works. I think it's just hiding it from the menu, which is great. View project. Again, we can fix that underline there, but it's not letting that work. So maybe it's not hide page. Okay. Oh yeah, we don't want to hide the page. Unhide page. Just figure out how to remove it from the menu though. Not lock page. Was it in here? No. We got to remove that. This is where we're going to use Google. How to remove a page from the nav in Canva. You should hide the page rather than delete. This way the page remains your design but not displayed in the navigation menu. So maybe it was hide page. Maybe I'm just not understanding that. Maybe I didn't link to this properly. Paddleboard safety, right? Freaking work. Learn more. I gotta fix that too. So yeah, fix links. Links. This one's not working. Not working. I'll come back to that. Okay, let's go back to here though. We're not going to the home page. Nope. We're gonna edit that. And we're gonna go down to We're on the My Work. There we go. Done. Okay, the link's updated. There's a link here. Okay, I might have to come back to that. It's definitely hidden from the nav, which is really good. Maybe there's a site settings screen in here somewhere. Let's do settings. Show. No video. We'll figure that out. Okay, let's come back here. So we have the hero section here. We have learn more. We'll scroll down here. We have about the project. We have some content here. View the completed project. Let's get rid of this here. And let's upload that little video that Julia created for her project. This little MP4, right? That's fun. I like that. A little preview of it. And let's wait for that to upload. Building a website's fun. It takes time. I know we've been going for a long time, so I appreciate you sticking around if you're still here. If you haven't done so, make sure you hit subscribe while we're waiting here. Subscribe to the channel. It helps me. And it helps you too, because you learn new shit, right? And that's fun. Okay, so can we round these corners? I think we should do that. Make them a little bit rounded, right? I kind of like that. We have that rounded here. What's the radius here? We have 19. What do we have here? 19, look at me. Oh my God, I impress myself all the time. I think we can stand to move this up and shorten this a little bit. I'm going to do this, select these items, and then, moving on up to this section. Okay. That seems pretty good. All right. Now what we need is we need some content for about the project, right? And this is where, we have some bullet points here. This is fine, but I'd rather it read more like some project details here. Now, do we have any long bits of content that we could repurpose? I'm just reading through here. I kind of like what we did here. You know what? This is where we're just going to do some body text. I'm going to make this work. Let's add a section. Move this section up. Okay. We're going to change the background of this section. What if it were white? Kind of delineate about the project to some information. I'm second guessing whether or not we even need this up here too. What would this feel like? I'll move this all down here so we can pretend like it's not there. Of course, I can't get to the page right now. Let me unhide it so at least it's in the menu for now. And then we can preview it till I figured out the other issue, right? Yeah, I don't think we need that. It was fun. Maybe we'll leave it there at the bottom, but we need some area for content now. Okay, so again, I'm not going to just throw in a text box here. I'm going to use this text box that I have here. And I think what we're going to do here is I kind of want to take some of this here. Let's take this, copy, throw it up here. And let's call this my design process, right? And let's take what Julia did here and let's throw this into ChatGPT. So, okay, we're now okay, so I'm just saying take these bullet points, make it read more like, kind of like a case study. That's really what we want to have as a write-up here. You know what I mean? So let's just copy this, paste that there, and then copy this and paste that here. Let's see what it comes up with. Oh, I have an idea too. Okay, this is good. I'm just going to take this content here. I have an idea. So we have this image here. This is where we can display some artifacts from her design process, right? That makes sense. Let's duplicate this. Can I just easily bring that down here? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to have some paragraphs here. Okay. And let's paste that in there. Okay. And let's do this. Let's duplicate this section too. Move this down. Just give me a second here. How can I expand it? You know what? It's not being happy with me. Okay. Let's get rid of this too. So I have a little bit of content here. I'm going to shorten that there. Okay. And then we have it continued down here. I'm going to bring this up here. And it's the experience. So that's here. So I'm just kind of breaking it up. You know what I mean? Is that it? That's all the content, right? I wonder if I can do an image gallery. Image gallery. I can't spell gallery today. We have some frames. So what other elements we have? Graphics, frames, photos. Not art gallery, not literally a gallery. Frames. I don't know if you can do interactive galleries here. Close that, sorry. Create your own image generator, buttons, shapes, frames. So these are like placeholders, I see. There doesn't seem to be, unless these are clickable frames. Let's do this. Can you create an interactive image gallery in Canva? Yes, you can create interactive image galleries in Canva that requires combining Canva with tools that offer. Oh, yeah, we're not doing that tonight. Okay, cool. But in this instance, what I would probably recommend for Julia is like we're breaking up the text. We have a little bit about our design process. We have a little bit of some imagery here. I'll show you what we do here. And then let's duplicate this one more time and knock it down there, right? And so maybe what we do is if I go back to our files here, we have some of the storyboard here. Can we do a PDF in here? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's upload. And we have the PDF here. What do we have here? We have an action map, right? We'll open that. Let's see what happens if I throw the PDF in there. It'd be really cool if it made it like something you can scroll through. Did I upload it? Yeah. Oh, did it? Did it do it? Kinda. I mean, it took the image there. That's kind of cool. That's not really what I want, right? But, you know, Julie could do some screenshots, some mock-ups of her storyboard and put it in here with another image of her storyboard down here. If there was one other final thing I might add to this, if I were to say so myself, is let's go back to the design here. I don't know. I feel like I want to add in, we have the tools listed here. Well, we have this view design process, view storyboard. That could be something we put in here, right? As a call to action button. Right, so if she did a mock-up of her storyboard here, we can do, right? View the storyboard. Yeah. Maybe we do view the design document, and then down here, let me delete this. I just, for consistency's sake, I'm going to duplicate this. Duplicate, move on down, view the storyboard, right? Okay, so now let's go back to place it, and let's do a mock-up of, in this case, it doesn't really matter. So we'll just do like an iPad mock-up, right? And maybe this can be her storyboard. Edit that. Let me minimize this. Let's open up the storyboard. And maybe what I'll do is I will just do a screenshot of this thing, Let's go back to place it, replace. I think you can do mockups in Canva. I've just never done them in there, so I've always used this tool. That's fine. Has a little space above and below, but that's totally fine. The important thing to know too, when it comes to like different tools that you might use, in this case, I use Placeit. It's really not about the tool that you use. It's about what tool you're most comfortable with, right? I'm most comfortable with this one, so this is the one I'm going to use. Let's upload that. Yeah, it's thinking about it. Okay. Pow. Look at that. Oh my goodness. We're getting professional here. And then the design document. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, close that. We have like an action map here, right? And an outline. Maybe we'll do an outline. Of course, she could add multiple images if she wants to. We're just going to do the simplified course mockup here. Let's screenshot this thing here. And we'll do another little mockup of that as well. Close ChatGPT. Don't need her anymore. Let's do another mock-up. We're going to do digital. Let's do like a MacBook this time. Hey, look, it looks like Julia's working on a computer. She's doing action mapping. Replace desktop. Where's that photo? There's that. I kind of like that. Crop it. Okay, it's in there. It looks good. Let's download it. It's processing. Download. Okay. We have viewed the storyboard. That's what we're going to put here. Okay. Upload. And we're going to upload this one. And throw that in here. There we go. Cool. Look, we're about done here. All right, so let's take a look at the whole thing here. I want to make sure all my links are working, though, before we do that. That goes down here to the about. We have the view, the completed project. I haven't uploaded these at all. I'll let Julia do that. So let me remove these. And actually, I could probably just copy them from here, right? No, that's okay. Well, yeah, I can. Copy link address. And we'll just do that here. There, done. And then the storyboard. Copy link address. And we will link it, paste it, done it, done. Get rid of our underline. Now let's take a look at everything. Okay. Holy moly. that was a lot of work, but look at what we have here. You know, I mean, how long have I been recording? I have no idea. It's been a hot minute, but you know, that's how I would redesign this website. You know what I mean? So, hey, I'm Julia. I design learning solutions that are engaging, learner-centered, and results-driven. Learn more about me. Learn more about my story. We'll go to that here in a minute. See how I bring learning to life. Here's some of the things that she does. View more of my work. All of this great stuff. She can replace some of that. Menu up here. Let's go learn more about Julia's story. My story. Great. We have some of those images here. About me. My approach. This is fantastic. My background. She can put some of that information in there. Our footer. And then let's go back home. Let's check out that portfolio link. This looks good. View my work. All right. We'll fix this here in a moment. Learn more. Project gallery. See, now it's working. So we'll have to figure out how to hide that from the menu. That's okay. She can put some testimonials in there. We'll view the paddleboard project, stand-up paddleboard safety, learn more. Great about the project. View the completed project. That works. Fantastic. We have our little video here. That looks great. My design process. Some imagery. View the design document. Again, we can remove those those underlines there. View the storyboard. That sort of stuff. That works there. Look at that. It's all come together really nicely. So that was a lot of work, right? And it took a little bit of back and forth, but this is a good example of, you know, the type of work it takes to build a really nice website. But, you know, that just took me, I don't know, it has been an hour and a half, 2 hours. I really have no idea how long I've been recording for, but that's how I would redesign a website. And I really want you to pay attention to how I worked within the confines of the template that I was using in Canva. I didn't try to like wing it too much on my own. Of course, there was a few areas here where we kind of winged it on our own, but like we made it look nice. It looks like a website, right? And that's just using my design skill set. And the more you play with it, the more you'll figure it out, you know, whatever works for you. But what was important is I stayed within the template. I stayed within the colors. I stayed consistent. And we have something that looks really, really nice that's ready to go right off the bat. And so now I'm going to hand this back to Julia and I'm going to let her figure out what of this she wants to adopt into her website. And then, you know, she'll have a great looking website for herself. All right. So, gosh, it's been a long video. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and the bell button to get alerted the next time I publish a video just like this one. And of course, join us in our free community inside the eLearning Designers Academy at elearningacademy.io, where we help new instructional designers and e-learning developers just like Julia grow their careers by focusing on skills first. Otherwise, my name is Tim Slade. I'm tired. I hope you all have a great rest of your day or evening. I'll see you around.